Today, our group, consisting of Alexia Gibson, Candice Goddard, Tamara Ali, Alyssa Hudson, and Giovanna Ramada, will be presenting cognitive behavioral family therapy. We'll be discussing the historical background, the key theorists and their academic background, core theoretical concepts, main therapeutic interventions, the target population, and conclusion. Introduction. Cognitive behavioral family therapy is rooted in the integration of two major therapeutic approaches, behavioral therapy and cognitive therapy, both of which evolved in the mid-20th century. Its development reflects broader historical trends in psychology and family therapy, combining behavioral science, cognitive theory, and family systems thinking. For the behavioral foundation, behavioral therapy, which originated in the 1940s from the work of B.F. Skinner, who developed operant conditioning, and Ivan Pavlov, who developed classical conditioning. Early behaviorists focused on observable behaviors and how they could be modified through reinforcement and punishment. In family therapy, behavioral approaches emphasize changing specific problematic behaviors within the family unit. Early pioneers such as Gerald Patterson applied behavioral principles to family therapy to address issues like child conduct problems and emphasize the role of reinforcement in shaping family dynamics. On the cognitive side, the cognitive revolution in psychology, driven by figures like Aaron Beck and Albert Ellis, emphasized the role of thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions in influencing emotions and behaviors. Beck's cognitive therapy and Ellis's rational emotive behavior therapy focused on identifying and restructuring maladaptive thought patterns to improve emotional well-being. This shift influenced family therapy by suggesting that not only behaviors but also family members' cognitions played a key role in family functionings. The integration of both cognitive and behavioral models occurred in the 1970s. The merging of cognitive and behavioral models led to the development of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Around the same time, family therapists began incorporating CBT principles to address both individual and relational issues within families. The emergence of CBFT occurred in the 1980s. CBFT formally emerged as a distinct approach combining elements of cognitive restructuring and behavioral interventions within a systemic family framework. This model was applied to various family issues, including marital conflict, parent-child relationships, and chronic illnesses. Now to highlight some key principles of CBFT today. Key principles of CBFT are behavioral techniques, which focus on modifying problematic interactions and reinforcing positive behaviors in family dynamics. Cognitive techniques, which challenge and change maladaptive beliefs and thought patterns that fuel family conflict or dysfunction. And systemic focus, which addresses the interdependence of family members and how their behaviors and beliefs influence one another.
So next, we'll be looking at the key theorists and their academic backgrounds. So firstly, we have Dr. Aaron T. Beck. He's a renowned psychologist known as the founder of cognitive behavioral therapy. So while Beck himself did not specialize exclusively in family therapy, clinicians and researchers adapted his cognitive framework to address family issues. Next, there was Dr. Frank Datilio. He's a prominent figure in cognitive behavioral family therapy. So Datilio was instrumental in integrating CBT principles into family therapy. He was building on the foundational work done by Dr. Beck, whom he had studied under, and adapted it to address relational and systemic issues within families and couples. He emphasized that family members' cognitions, thoughts, and interactions are deeply interconnected, influencing the emotional and relational health of the family system. Next, there was Dr. Albert Bandura. So we know Dr. Albert Bandura due to his contributions to the social learning theory or social cognitive theory. These theories emphasize how thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are shaped by social interactions, making them essential for understanding and intervening in family systems. Next, Dr. Gerald Patterson. Patterson made significant contributions to understanding family dynamics, coercion theory, and interventions targeting problematic child behaviors. Specifically, his research into coercive family processes has contributed to CBFT's strategies for addressing dysfunctional family patterns. Next, we have Dr. Albert Ellis. His theoretical contributions and therapeutic methods provided key insights that were later adapted into CBFT. So Ellis is best known for REBT, a precursor to CBT. His focus on challenging irrational beliefs and focusing and fostering effective communication remains central to addressing family conflicts. Next is Donald Meichenbaum. His key contributions include the development of cognitive behavioral modification, which emphasizes changing maladaptive self-talk to improve behavior and emotional outcomes. He provided tools for addressing maladaptive thought patterns within family dynamics and fostering effective communication and problem-solving skills among family members. Lastly, Dr. Salvador Muchin. So he worked originally on structural family therapy, which then influenced cognitive behavioral family therapy. So his work laid the groundwork for integrating behavioral and cognitive strategies into family therapy. Structural family therapy's focus on reorganizing family dynamics aligns with CBFT's goal of addressing dysfunctional patterns and promoting constructive changes in thoughts and behaviors.
Okay, so moving on to the core theoretical concepts. The theoretical concepts of CBT is broken down into behavioral theory and cognitive theory, as mentioned before. So firstly, behavioral theory is championed by B.F. Skinner along with Ivan Pavlov, which essentially it postulates that behaviors are heavily influenced by the role of learning and environmental factors. These heavily shape our realities by means of conditioning. So conditioning can be broken down into classical conditioning, which was first brought on by Ivan Pavlov, which this involves producing a new learned response as a result of association of two stimuli being linked together, or operant conditioning, brought about by B.F. Skinner, in which reinforcement or consequences holds the shaping power. So that is, positive reinforcements are more likely to result in the behavior being repeated, while negative reinforcement is less likely to result in the repeated behavior. As a result of these behaviors and responses being learned, the idea is that maladaptive behaviors can be unlearned and replaced with more adaptive responses through CBT and continuous systemic reinforcement. On to cognitive theory, pioneered by Aaron T. Beck, postulates that the way people internally perceive their experiences influences their emotional, physiological, and behavioral responses. This theory suggests that whatever people do and think affects how they feel. Beck also identified a characteristic within thought patterns which was termed cognitive distortions. That is, automatic biased thoughts, like the belief that adverse outcomes are more likely despite evidence to support the contrary. So some cognitive distortions are things like black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking, which is seeing things in extremes with no rooms for middle ground. Catastrophizing, which is exaggerating the negative and minimizing the positive. Personalization, feeling responsible for events that are out of your control. Among many others is overgeneralization, assuming a single event determines all future outcomes, emotional reasoning, believing how you feel is true. So moving on, we have the therapeutic principles. So CBT encompasses a diverse array of therapeutic techniques tailored to address the unique needs of each client. However, prerequisitely, it is guided by several core principles that underpin its therapeutic approach. So these principles provide a roadmap for the clinicians as well as the clients to collaboratively navigate the process of change and growth. So firstly, we have collaborative empiricism, which entails the exploration of the client's experiences, thoughts, and behaviors in a non-judgmental manner. Together, the therapist and the client can work to identify patterns, test assumptions, and evaluate the evidence for and against maladaptive beliefs. Secondly, a structured and goal-oriented approach is also of ample importance in CBT. Sessions should focus on specific problems or objectives, employing structured interventions to achieve specific goals. This approach maintains clarity, accountability, as well as progress within therapy. CBFT also emphasizes the present moment and encourages clients to take active steps towards change. Rather than dwelling on past traumas or future worries, Therapy focuses on identifying and addressing current cognitive and behavioral patterns contributing to the stress. Clients should be encouraged to experiment with new ways of thinking and behaving in and outside of sessions, facilitating real-world application and skill acquisition. Lastly, psychoeducation is central to CBT. Clients should learn about the interplay between thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. It's meant to foster insight, self-awareness, and empowerment, equipping clients with the knowledge and skills to actively progress within their own healing journey.
Okay, so now we'll be discussing the main therapeutic interventions in cognitive behavioral family therapy. These include cognitive restructuring, behavioral activation, conflict resolution, problem solving, and exposure therapy. So, cognitive restructuring involves identifying and challenging cognitive distortions and replacing them with more balanced and adaptive thoughts. Behavioral activation aims to increase engagement in meaningful activities to alleviate depressive symptoms. Conflict resolution focuses on helping members recognize negative thought patterns that fuel conflicts. Problem solving in CBT equips clients with problem-solving skills to effectively cope with life stressors and challenges, and exposure therapy is utilized to reduce anxiety and fear responses by exposing clients to feared stimuli or situations in a controlled manner.
Next, we'll be discussing the target population. The target population for CBFT is diverse as it is designed to address a wide range of relational, psychological, and behavioral issues within family systems. This includes families with relational conflicts, which could look like couples experiencing marital or relationship distress, or even parent-child conflicts. Individuals with mental health issues affecting family functioning. CBFT is effective for families where one or more members are struggling with mental health conditions and family dynamics play a role in either exacerbating or mitigating the condition. Families facing life transitions or stressors. CBFT is suitable for families struggling to adapt to significant changes or stressors, such as the creation of a blended family, chronic illness or disability, and life transitions, either divorce, relocation, etc. Specific behavior problems in children and adolescents. CBFT is widely used for families with children or teens displaying conduct disorders or oppositional defiant disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, substance use disorders, or risky behaviors. And lastly, couples seeking premarital or relationship counseling. CBFT is also preventative, targeting couples who wish to develop effective communication and problem-solving skills, as well as identify and address dysfunctional thought patterns early in the relationship.
Okay, so now we will be demonstrating cognitive behavioral family therapy in the form of a role play.
So today I have a session with the Blue family. It's a couple with their two teenage daughters, Kat and Mia. I haven't done a session in a while, so I'm pretty excited. Hi everyone, welcome. I'm glad you all could meet me today. Before we start, I want to reassure you that this is a completely safe space and everything we say is 100% confidential. So what brings you all here today?
Well, lately, I've been feeling like my family just doesn't appreciate all that I do for them. You know, I cook, I clean, I come home, I help with schoolwork, I do everything. And when it's my turn to do something, they don't support me.
I get you. And how does everyone else feel about what she just said?
You don't know anything because you never home in the first place. Anyways, last week I told them that I'm going to prioritize my life for once and go back to school part-time so that I can finally get my bachelor's degree.
A degree for what? You don't know
See what I mean? No support.
Okay, so this family clearly has some stressors, and I'm already picking up on their unhelpful thoughts. The mother believes that no one supports her, and instead of trying to understand her, the father is kind of being defensive and adding his unhelpful thoughts into the conversation. If I use cognitive behavioral family therapy, it can help them change some of the thoughts, reducing the conflict between them. Okay, it sounds like you're both feeling overwhelmed by the situation. let's try to unpack these feelings. I'm gonna start with cognitive reconstruction. It's kind of like brain surgery, but instead of using a scalpel, I'll use improving questions. You mentioned feeling like your family doesn't appreciate or support you. Can you think of one specific time when you did feel appreciated by your family?
Well, the other night I came home from work extremely tired, so Kat offered to cook dinner. She's my angel. And Leah did her own homework for once, so I guess that was nice.
Okay, great. So there are times when they can't offer some support, right?
Yes.
What do you need from your family that would make you feel supported on a more consistent basis?
I need them to understand how hard I work and for them to, pick up some slack. I can't always be Superwoman.
And earlier, you expressed some feelings of being unappreciated as well. I also picked up on you being overwhelmed with your desires, correct?
All I say is, she just keep the house afloat, right? When I get out. So my concern is, how we gonna do all of this? If it is that she wanna pick up school now, and then we have.
But I'm not asking you to do everything, to do all this. I just want a little bit of help.
What do you guys think about both of you working together to develop a plan? A way to kind of share the responsibilities at home so neither one of you feels overwhelmed?
I would love that.
Yeah, we could try that.
Okay, perfect. And don't be afraid to get your daughters a shared responsibility as well. Speaking of the daughters, they've been quiet this entire session. Let's see what's going on with them. Let's shift the focus a bit. Kat and Leah. Who's older?
Kat's older. I'm 13. She's like 45 or something.
I'm 17.
Right, my bad. You just look 45.
It seems like they have some conflict between them to resolve. I use some scaling questions to assess their dynamics a little better. I'm sensing some tension between you kids. Kat, you first, how close of a relationship do you have with your sister? On a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being definitely not close and 10 being extremely close, like besties. How close are you guys?
I don't really know. Like a 2?
What about you, Leah?
-1. She literally hates me.
I don't hate you, Leah. I just hate the way that you act sometimes. Sometimes you act like such a baby. You don't do anything around your house.
Kat, let's take some small steps. How can we turn that 2 into a 5?
Easy. If Leah was to just stop acting like a baby, start helping around the house, doing things for herself, you will be okay.
And Leah, how do you feel about that?
If I was to actually get some attention, I wouldn't have to act out.
Oh, I see. So I want you guys to tell me how often you spend quality time together.
Never. We share a bedroom and she still doesn't spend time with me.
Okay, so what if you girls chose one thing you could both do? Would that be a good idea together?
Honestly, as long as Kat wants to do it, I would do it.
Well, yeah, I guess I'll be open to it. As long as she doesn't act like a brat.
Okay, now time to create a solid family plan that focuses on problem-solving intervention. I'll use Socratic dialogue as my final technique. So now that we've laid some of the feelings out on the table, let's develop a practical plan based on what we've talked about today. Mrs. Blue, what is it that you need most from your family?
Well, I need them to understand that going back to school is important to me, but I can't do it without their support.
Can you give an example of what their support would look like to you?
I mean, I shouldn't have to come home and have wares in the sink and dirty clothes in the basket every single day. Pick up after yourself. Pick up yourself and do something around the house. I can't, depend on me all the time.
And Mr. Blue, what about you? What is some way you could offer your wife some support, keeping your own workload in mind?
Well, as tired as I may be, the effort is what we're looking for. So I might as well, if it is that she's cooking, I'll take up the washing of the dishes. Or from time to time, we can even rotate it, where I might cook, and then you wash the dishes.
And you, Kat?
I guess I can help Leah with her homework and her school projects so that Mommy would have one less thing to do on the weekend. And it would be a way for us to spend time together.
Smart girl. Leah, what about you?
I guess I could help with the chores instead of leaving it all for the cat to do. Because then she would end up stressed just like this one over here.
All this sounds great. How do you guys feel about committing to this plan?
I think it's a good start for us.
To some point, it sounds doable.
Yeah,
We can try. I want to say I'm very proud of you guys for being willing to make the changes. This is only the beginning, so I'm looking forward to seeing all of you next week so we can catch up on the progress. Yeah?
I am Adessa Hudson, and I played Mr. Blue, the father.
I'm Tamara Ali, and I play Mrs. Blue, the mother.
I'm Giovanna Ramadan, and I play Leah.
I'm Alexia Gibson, and I played Kat.
I'm Candace Goddard and I play the therapist.
And we're the production team.